nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all. It's your buddy Big Johnny G, the Two Gut Fix-It presents Legendary Gaming. Two Gun Pixie has another Tabletop Takeout Tuesday for you. Thank you for joining us. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G, and with this series on Tuesday, what I like to do is give you bullet points. Why I like or love a particular game. What about it has caught my attention to the point where I'm playing it again. So why don't you join me, and we're going to talk about a game that covers several different possibilities here. Not just the game it was specifically made for, but a couple of things on the side. If you need a sort of fate deck of many things to be represented in your RPG game, this will fill that slot. If you want to divine the future, this is a tarot deck. And this tarot deck is also a trick-taking game. So why don't you join me down the table and I will tell you why I enjoy Questeros. Questeros. Now this game actually is a triple threat. I say that because it serves at least three purposes that I can discern. Now, first of all, it is a tarot deck. That's right. You can, and if you enjoy doing so, you should use this as an actual deck of tarot cards. The illustrations are perfect, they're beautiful, I love the way they've done it, the way they've interpreted and reimagined, for the purpose of a fantasy game, the art on the cards themselves, on the tarot cards. It's an amazing job that they did. But this is a game, it's not just a deck of tarot cards. And it's not just a game, also it's a game enhancer. So you can use this if you have items in RPGs such as fate decks or a deck of many things, then this can act as an actual physical representation of that on your RPG gaming table. Something that the players can actually draw a card from instead of a random roll. And that brings the moment of that game a little bit more to life when you can do that. Now, on top of these two things, as I've said, it's also a card game. It's a 1 to 6 player trick-taking fantasy adventure card game that revolves around not just the tarot cards, but sort of a card set situation. There are parts of this that make me feel like, not poker, but that style of a more classic card game mixed in with all of this. It hits a lot of bases, and it checks a few boxes that you don't expect that are going to get checked by a board game. And honestly, I can't think of any board games that, that do that. Or card games, if you want to split hairs and be specific, but still I can't think of many at all that do that. I can't even think of one off the top of my head right now to throw in as a comparison. But this does so much more than any other card game I've had the opportunity to experience, play, and use. This is a huge bullet point for me on this. I mean, this is more like a cannonball point. Now, just a little touch I want to mention is that you earn money in the game. You earn gold pieces while you're playing in the competitive mode. Well, in both modes actually. But this whole gaining of something, treasure, coins, right? It adds on to me actually for the whole RPG, fantasy, adventure kind of vibe. It adds on, it builds that with everything else. And I do appreciate that. Now, the solo mode is something else that I am really into. Whenever a game, and I have a few, and I always make this a point, when I have a game, experience a game where the solo mode of the game plays different than the multiplayer mode, I mean, that's high standards, I think. That is great. That is going the extra mile. Yeah, they could have made it a competitive sense, whereas a solo game, you're still using 2 or 3 characters, so to speak. And a lot of games do that, and it can work to varying degrees depending on how much attention you need to pay to each character. How many things can they do? How fidgety is it? You know what I mean. But when games like this take the solo mode and they make it a separate experience, I mean, that really is going the extra mile. And it really needs to be pointed out and applauded anytime a publisher does this. So thank you very much for adding that type of a solo game in. Another bullet point so big, that's another cannonball point. And I have to admit that I wasn't surprised that I liked this game, because it comes from a company that, as far as I'm concerned, has a great track record. FunDaMental Games has put out everything they've put out, I have enjoyed, and not just like one degree or another. I mean, literally really enjoyed all of their titles. The first one I encountered from them, Duel of the Dragons, a 1 or 2 player card game, battling game where you are dragons and fighting each other. I just love that game. I still play it regularly. Legends of Novus was this overland adventure fantasy style game which mixes in a little bit of a feel of video games in the sense that you're building up to bosses. It's really fun. Every time I put it down on the table, me and whoever are playing it always have a great time. Die in the Dungeon is a 1-player experience. Well, you can play 2 players, 4 if you get 2 copies, but it's a great 1-player experience of a reverse dungeon style where you're the monsters defending against the murder hobo adventurers. So they have a great track record of clever games and really fun games. So that's another reason that this is a huge bullet point, another cannonball point, if you will, for this game. So if you don't know Questeros, please check it out. There's videos on it, not just me, other people's videos too. I don't care whose you watch. Just watch the videos on Questeros and then make up your own mind, all right? Being informed is so much better than being influenced. So keep yourself informed, my friends, and go check out Questeros.